This is Grumpy SEO Guy, episode 29, Anchortext, what it is and how to use it. You're listening to Grumpy SEO Guy, the SEO podcast that doesn't waste your time with nonsense that doesn't work. I'm the Grumpy SEO Guy, and I'm sharing with you the strategies that have helped me successfully run my SEO agency for the last 14 years. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my knowledge and experience, discussing tips and strategies, and trying to help you cut through the confusion that permeates this industry. If you listen to this podcast, you will know more about SEO than 99% of people on the planet. Ready? Let's get started. I'm the Grumpy SEO Guy. Let me tell you why I'm grumpy today. I'm grumpy today because I've gotten some feedback on this podcast that I'm not doing a very good job explaining Anchortext. So, first of all, I apologize. Whenever there's confusion, the teacher is the one at fault. So, I apologize. Let me try to do a better job of explaining it. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to talk about what Anchortext is, and then we're going to talk about the reasons it's important. But before we do that, my lawyer tells me that I have to say this right now. A quick disclaimer before we get started, everything I say here is based on my experience and opinion from 14 years in the industry. I don't officially know how Google or any other search engines work. Everything I say here is hypothetical and based on my experience. This podcast does not constitute advice or services. What worked for me may or may not work for you. Okay, back to the show. Okay. Anchortext is anytime you have a link from one site to another website, Anchortext is the words that you can click on. So you put the cursor on it and it changes color or it underlines or it may do nothing at all because you know what? You can change the code so that there is no modification to the text when you put the cursor on a link. Okay? But Anchortext is whatever words you can click on. Okay, let me try to explain this one other way. So a link, you know what a link is. A link is something you click that takes you to a different website. A link has various attributes, okay? What is one attribute of a link? The destination, okay? Where does it take you? If you click on that link, what website are you going to go to, okay? That's one attribute of a link, the destination. Another attribute is what does the link say? Whatever words are in the link, that's the anchor text. Whatever the link says, that's the anchor text. Does the link say, check out this website? Does the link say, click here? Does the link say, blue widgets? Whatever the link says, that's the anchor text. There's other attributes for links like follow and no follow and like all this other stuff, but we're going to talk about that later because I don't want to get too detailed in this episode. Okay, so there's two kinds of links. A link can be an image or a link can be text. Now, images aren't really used for links that often because it's just easier to use text, I guess. And images are not text. So for this episode, just ignore the fact that images can be links, okay? Because images don't have anchor text, so we're not even talking about them right now. So all of the other links on the internet that are not images are text links. They might say something like, have a look at this website, or they might say something like, click here, or they might say literally anything else in the world, okay? Anchor text is whatever words are in that link. So let's say you have a sentence. To learn more, click here. Okay, you're talking about something on your website and you're just going to link somewhere else that explains it for you. So you write, to learn more, click here. Okay, now, if the words click here at the end of that sentence are the link, then click here is the anchor text. If the whole thing is a link, if the entire sentence of to learn more, click here is the link, then the entire sentence, to learn more, click here is the anchor text. Anchor text is whatever words are the link. Let's do another example. Maybe you've got a contact page on your site and you say, you're writing your text, whatever, your blog post, and you say, if you've got questions, click here to contact us. Okay. They click the link and it takes them to a page with a contact form. In that sentence that links to the contact page, if you've got questions, click here to contact us. If contact us is the link, meaning you can click on contact us, but you can't click on anything else, then contact us is the anchor text. If the whole sentence, if you've got questions, click here to contact us, is a link and the whole sentence is possible to be clicked on, then the whole sentence, if you've got questions, click here to contact us, is the anchor text. Anchor text is whatever text is clickable. I'm going to give one more example, and then that's all the examples I can think of, because I understand that this is a very awkward thing to define, but I don't know another way to define it. So let's say you're linking to your friend's website, okay? Maybe your friend has a really cool website where he builds doll houses. I'm literally just making an example, okay? I don't know. Maybe you don't have a friend that builds doll houses. Anyway, you're talking about your friend, and your friend builds doll houses, and you want to say, oh yeah, my friend builds doll houses. Okay, let's use that sentence. Maybe the sentence, my friend builds doll houses, is a link. And if you click on any of the words in the sentence, my friend builds doll houses, it's a link and it will take you to your friend's website. Okay, if you do it that way, where every single word is clickable, then my friend builds doll houses is the anchor text. But if it just says my friend, and that's all you can click on, and the rest of the sentence, builds doll houses, is not clickable, then my friend is the anchor text. Or maybe you can do it another way. Maybe you say my friend builds doll houses, but builds doll houses is the anchor text, and my friend, you're not able to click on that. In that case, then builds doll houses is the anchor text. Why? Because builds doll houses is the part that you can click on. Anchor text is whatever text is a link. If it's not a link, it's not anchor text. If it is a link, it is anchor text. That's the only way I know of to explain it, and I really, really, really hope that it makes sense. So let me give you one more example. This is a test, but I'm not going to grade it, so you can do it or not. Go to any website in the world, okay? Literally any website. I don't care. Go to literally any website. Find any link that you can click on, okay? That's not a picture, obviously. What words or what text can you actually click on and it takes you to some other page? That's the anchor text, okay? It's not words that you can't click on. It's the words that you can click on. Okay, I hope you passed your test, which involves picking a website out of the entire internet and finding a link that you can click on and figuring out what the anchor text is. Hint, the answer is whatever words you can actually click on. Okay, now let's talk about why anchor text is important. As we know, the search engines rank based on two main things. The first is authority, and the second is a topic, okay? So let's say you have a website about blue widgets. How does the search engine know that your website is about blue widgets? Most people are going to say, well, it's because you've got content, and content is king. By the way, if you're just joining us, content is not king. Please go back and listen to literally any episode where I explain that content is not king. But let's keep going. A lot of people will say content. Content is how the search engines know that your website is about blue widgets. Content is king. Okay, those people are partially right. Content is not king, but content is a way that the search engines know that your website is about blue widgets. Why? If you have content that talks about blue widgets, your website is probably about blue widgets. Makes perfect sense. Okay, but there's one other way that you can tell the search engines what your website is about without even using the content, and that is with anchor text. Now, I'm going to give you a warning before I actually get into this. Do not go crazy doing this, because while this worked very, very well in 2010, it's not the best idea anymore. However, if you do it correctly, it is still very powerful. I'll explain the difference between how it used to work and how it works now. Don't be crazy, just be normal, and it won't even be a problem. Okay. If you have a website that talks about blue widgets, that's pretty cool. The search engines will crawl your site. Crawling is when a search engine looks at your site and tells what it's about and basically just gets a picture of it, like what links do you have, what content do you have, how many pages do you have, all that stuff. Search engines will look at your site and say, okay, we can tell from the content on this site that this site is about blue widgets. So what happens? Your site gets grouped in with all of the other blue widget sites on the internet. We call that relevance. And when somebody searches for blue widgets, the search engines are going to look at all of the websites that are relevant for blue widgets, which is probably, but not necessarily, all the websites that talk about blue widgets. And then they're going to give them in the results in order of authority. So the most authoritative website that is relevant for blue widgets will be number 1. And then the next most authoritative website that is relevant for blue widgets will be number 2. And then the next most authoritative website for blue widgets will be number 3. And it will keep going like that until it runs out of websites or until you stop clicking to the next page or scrolling down or doing however the search engines are working. Okay, that's how search engines work, by the way. Now, I just said there's a way to get relevance for a topic that is not related to your content, and that is with Anchortext. So if you have a website that is, let's just say your website is about blue widgets just for fun, okay? It could be about literally anything, but let's just say it's about blue widgets, okay? And pretty relevant, okay? But somebody else links to you. And when they're linking to you, you get a backlink from them with the Anchortext blue widgets. Okay, remember back to the beginning of this episode. What does that mean? It means the words blue widgets are a link that are clickable, okay? So someone else has a website and they say, hey, you can learn more about blue widgets here. And the words blue widgets are clickable, okay? The words blue widgets are the link. That will give your site relevance for the terms blue widgets. Now, I'm going to tell you a little fact here, and I talked about this in another episode, but by doing this, you can rank a website for words that do not even appear on the website, okay? In other words, if you did it correctly, you could rank a site for blue widgets, and that website doesn't even talk about blue widgets, okay? That is absolute evidence that content is not king, okay? If you can rank a website for a word that is not even on the website, content doesn't even matter. It doesn't. Now, of course it helps, and of course you need content because content keeps readers on the site, and the whole purpose of websites is to get people to look at them, okay? Obviously, have good content, by the way, because the internet is full of websites with terrible content. So don't contribute to the horrendous nature of the internet and the horrible quality content. But you don't need content, and you especially don't need good content to rank for a certain search term. And I give an example of this in another episode where we search for a thing and a website shows up that doesn't even have those words on it, yet it's on the first page of the search engines for that term. Oh my gosh. So that's just more evidence, again, that content is not king and ultimately doesn't even matter. But that's a different topic. Okay, so let's kind of go over this again. You've got a website, it's relevant for blue widgets. Depending on how much authority it has, it may or may not be at the top of the search engine results when somebody searches for blue widgets. Okay, but what's another way to make it relevant for blue widgets? Another way is to get backlinks from other websites, preferably websites with authority, by the way, but to get backlinks from other websites that use the words blue widgets in the anchor text. And again, that means that the word blue widgets, or I guess the words blue widgets, are clickable. That's why they're the anchor text. So if somebody does that, that's giving your website more relevance for the words blue widgets. Now, if those links come from spammy websites, or if you do too many of them, it's going to hurt you. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. And you want to get these links from authoritative websites because that's how you rank. But anyways, just for now, just understand that anchor text provides relevance. And by the way, we've talked a little bit, and I'm not going to go into detail on this, but we've talked a little bit about negative SEO in episode 2 when we talk about how to avoid penalties and how to recover from penalties. I talk about a client we had who got negative SEO'd by a competitor. It was a big mess, but I talk about how we fix it. Anyway, if you think about it, if anchor text provides relevancy, how do you think negative SEO works? You get a bunch of bad backlinks using bad anchor text from spammy websites. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but it's important that you're aware that this can occur just so that you know it's a thing. And by the way, anybody telling you that negative SEO isn't real, just ignore that person. They're wrong. I've literally seen it happen to a very high-ranking website in a very competitive industry, which, by the way, is the reason it happened. Anyway, negative SEO is real. I'm not going to get into it, but if you get a bunch of spammy keywords in your anchor text from a bunch of spammy websites in a way that looks unnatural, well, that's pretty much negative SEO, isn't it? Now, it may or may not work, okay? There's a lot of stuff involved, but that's like the fundamental strategy for doing negative SEO. And again, I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Just be aware that it exists so that you can identify it or so that you can detect it if it's happening. But don't do it, okay? Just don't do it. Anyways, now let's just give a really quick example. Let's say that you want to rank a website for blue widgets. Maybe you're selling blue widgets. Maybe you're talking about blue widgets. It doesn't matter. The point is you want to rank a website for blue widgets. How are you going to do it? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have content that's relevant for blue widgets on your website. Why? Because that will help the search engines understand what your website is about. It's about blue widgets. You're going to be smart and you're not going to keyword stuff your content, which means you're not going to use your keywords too often. I've given lots of examples of that before, but you're going to have content that talks about blue widgets. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to get backlinks from authoritative websites. Why? Because authority is how you rank, and backlinks from authoritative website share some of their authority with you. I'm not saying only get backlinks from authoritative websites, but you want to get some of them. If you get backlinks from websites that don't have much authority, it's not a problem. It's pretty normal, in fact, and you should probably do it, but you will need authoritative backlinks to rank. Okay, now, everything that I've said so far should make sense. You have a website about blue widgets, and you're getting backlinks from authoritative websites. Okay, here's the question. Get ready to talk about Anchortext. What do those backlinks say? What words are the anchor text? And remember, anchor text is the words that you can click on. It's the text in the links. What do they say? What does that anchor text say? Well, if you're being smart, a sizable minority of it will say blue widgets. Why? Because that will give you even more relevance for blue widgets, and you will be getting authority from those authoritative websites. Now, here's where we talk about how it used to work versus how it works now. In 2010, you could go insane with doing too much of the same keywords in the anchor text. So if you wanted to rank for blue widgets, let's say hypothetically, you get 100 backlinks. And I'm just picking this number. Don't email me and say, so I need 100 backlinks to rank. I don't know how many backlinks you need to rank, but you need quality backlinks. I'm just picking this number because 100 is a pretty simple number to divide things into. Okay, let's say it's 2010. Okay, let's say you get 100 backlinks. If like 80 of them use the anchor text blue widgets, you would probably rank number 1 for blue widgets, okay? The other 20, it doesn't matter what they say. If like 80 of them said blue widgets in the anchor text, you would probably rank for blue widgets. And this is ignoring competition and all the other stuff, but just work with me here. Okay, now, why did this stop working? Because it was abused by spammers, okay? As soon as something gets abused by spammers, and by the way, this is like a recurring theme in my podcast, okay? Everything works until it gets abused by spammers. Therefore, don't do something that can be automated. Do you remember I told you this before? If it can be automated, it will be devalued. Don't use any automation tools. Don't do anything that somebody could write a program that would do it automatically. Don't do anything that leaves an obvious footprint, okay? And a footprint is just a way of detecting patterns that happen. By the way, like we talked about in an earlier episode, the reason most PBNs or private blog networks fail is because they leave footprints because they don't do it properly. But that's a different topic. Back in the day, everybody knew that not everybody, but like people knew that this worked. And so they took advantage of it. And you get 100 backlinks and 80 of them say blue widgets, and suddenly you're number 1 for blue widgets. It's an awesome way to get your website to rank better. Then the search engines were like, hey, people are abusing this. It's not going to work anymore. And they changed the algorithm so that too much of the same anchor text would give you a penalty. By the way, that's called an over-optimization penalty. We talk about it in detail in episode 2, which talks about how to fix, identify, and prevent penalties. Anyway, so now if you got 100 backlinks and 80 of them, so 80%, if 80% of your backlinks use the same anchor text, you're probably going to get a penalty. Why? Because that's a footprint. Do you remember episode 25 where I talked about how to tell if you're making bad SEO decisions? And the way you tell is by answering this question. Would this ever happen organically? If you get 100 backlinks and 80 of them use the same anchor text. Do you think that would ever happen organically? No, that would not happen organically. Therefore, it's a footprint. It's a sign to the search engines. Hey, search engines, we're doing something we shouldn't be doing. Come penalize us. Don't do it that way. But I'm not saying anchor text doesn't work as a ranking signal anymore. It absolutely is useful now, but you can't go crazy and do 80% of your backlinks with the same anchor text like you used to. Now, if you want to be smart, I would probably restrict anchor text, the same anchor text, to like 5 or 10% and vary it. Look, if you're trying to rank for blue widgets, and you get, again, we're going to use a simple example of 100 backlinks, okay? 100 backlinks. And again, for the people just joining us, that doesn't mean 100 is like some special number. And when you get 100 backlinks, suddenly you're at the top of the search engines. It might take more or less. Backlinks are more about quality than quantity. Anyway, let's say you get 100 backlinks today, not 2010 anymore, today, and you're trying to rank for blue widgets. I would not want more than 5 or 10 of those backlinks to use the words blue widgets. Why? Because I don't want to risk an over-optimization penalty, okay? And I would not even have them all say blue widgets and just nothing else. I would have some of them say blue widgets. I would have some of them say, click here to learn more about blue widgets, and have that complete sentence be the anchor text. The whole thing is clickable. Click here to learn more about blue widgets, okay? I would have some of them say, this site has some cool blue widgets. Okay, you want to use your keywords contextually in the anchor text, okay? And if you want to get even more advanced, I would have some links that don't use your keywords at all. Well, I would have a lot of links that don't use your keywords at all, but I would have them appear in paragraphs with the words blue widgets, but where blue widgets is not anchor text. So maybe you're talking about blue widgets for a little bit, and then a couple sentences later, you say like, click here to learn more or something like that. And blue widgets isn't even in the anchor text because the anchor text is click here to learn more. But the search engines can tell, wait a minute, this backlink is in a paragraph that's talking about blue widgets. It is relevant for blue widgets. Therefore, the site it links to is relevant for that same keyword. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Don't go crazy and have like all your backlinks use the same anchor text unless you really are hoping to get a penalty, okay? And you shouldn't be, because that would be a terrible idea. But, one more question before I forget, because I know somebody's going to say, well, if we have 100 backlinks and 5 or 10 of them say blue widgets, what should the other 90 say? Okay, literally anything. Mix it up, vary it. We call them generics if they're words that aren't specific to anything, like look at this website, or click here, or you can learn more here, or like literally anything that is not your keyword. Remember, as long as those backlinks are coming from authoritative websites, they're helping you. You're getting authority. The more authority you get, the better you're going to rank. You're getting relevance from the content on your site and also from some of the anchor text that links to you, okay? So you don't need to have all of your backlinks use the same anchor text. You just need to have some of them, like 5 or 10%. Mix it up. Less is always more. If you're worried, if you're like literally keeping track and you're like, I have exactly 10% of my backlinks use the anchor text, that's cool. But listen, less is more. You just want backlinks from authoritative websites. You want them to be, and this is beyond the scope of this episode, by the way, but you just want them to be contextual and make sense in the content from which they come. And you also want them to kind of be relevant to whatever keywords that you're trying to rank for. I hope that makes sense. So if it doesn't, feel free to email me again at hello@grumpySEOguy and be like, hey, your definition of anchor text was still horrible. Stop doing such a bad job explaining it. But I honestly hope that that was comprehensible and it makes sense. And you now know what anchor text is and why it's important. It's important because it provides relevancy, if you don't remember, and you know not to go crazy with it and use too many of the same keywords in your anchor text. Okay, that's the end of this episode. I hope it helped. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoy this podcast, please leave a review. It would really help the show out. I hope this episode is helpful, and if you have any questions, or if there's anything that you want me to talk about on a future episode, you can email me at hello@grumpyseoguy.com, and I'll talk to you later. You're listening to Grumpy SEO Guy, the SEO podcast that doesn't waste your time with nonsense that doesn't work. Join us next Wednesday when we talk about the difference between topical authority, which is really just another word for relevancy, and authority.